The Robichaud family would like to congratulate Chris Robichaud on his induction into the RMHS Athletic Hall of Fame. Like many successful high school athletes, RMHS Class of 2000 graduate Chris Robichaud loved and played multiple sports growing up in Reading. Chris played football under Hall of Fame coach Tom Kasperzak and was on the team when they defeated Braintree to win the '98 Super Bowl. He would earn 2 varsity letters in football as a defensive back and special teamer, but it was in wrestling where Chris would eventually become a standout and be recognized as one of the best ever at Reading Memorial High School. When the winter sports season rolled around in late fall of '96, the 14-year-old Robichaud found himself as part of a 19-member freshman class of wrestlers who RMHS Hall of Fame head coach Tom Darren described as the best overall group of freshmen we've ever had. Darren thought as many as 6 would be in his starting lineup that season. Chris made his way into the starting lineup that year somewhat by default, as they needed a body to wrestle in the 119-pound weight class, and Chris could get to that weight. Ready or not, his career was starting. Wrestling is an extremely physical sport that requires strength and endurance among other attributes that make it very difficult for young freshmen to do well, in particular against upperclassmen. While Robichaud worked hard and began to learn that first season, he only managed to win 1 match against 18 losses. Fortunately for Coach Darren and his staff, Chris was not the type to give up, but rather he chose to get better. He improved to 6 wins in his sophomore year and continued his off-season work to get stronger. Darren described Chris as especially dedicated and persistent. While working out in what is today the Tom Darren Wrestling Room, Robichaud would often gaze at the record boards that adorn the wall. The names he focused on most were the ones in red for the 3 state champions. Chris made it his mission to get on that wall, and it drove him. By the time his junior season rolled around, his body was starting to show that the hard work was paying off. He had grown to the 140-pound weight class, which so happens was amongst the most talented at the league and state level. In his junior season, both Chris and the Reading team saw a jump in their success. Robichaud would finish 3rd in the Middlesex League meet and in 4th place in the North Sectionals. When the state meet followed, Chris would gain his highest finish yet at that level, coming in 6th. After the season, Robichaud earned the team's Kevin Kavicki John Sullivan Ironman Award. To achieve this honor, a wrestler had to attend every practice and competition and fully participate in live drills, a feat that not a single Reading wrestler had achieved for the 5 years prior. It was this level of dedication that led to Chris being named one of 3 captains from that group of promising freshmen that had grown up together at RMHS. While wrestling is certainly a team sport in that every match and a meet helps accumulate points to defeat the opposition, it is also an individual one-on-one matchup that proves who is best at that moment in time. Robichaud once said that, quote, "There is no better feeling than having that hand raised after winning a match." Wrestlers in a particular weight class often have rivals who move along with them year to year, and the best ones stand in the way to get the ultimate goal of being called a state champion. Robichaud had those rivals in Eric Bees from Winchester and Dylan Kahn from Wakefield. They had defeated Chris multiple times in his journey to be the best, and his coach told him, "You have the moves and the knowledge to beat them," but he needed to add strength and stamina. Robichaud was driven and would continue his personal workouts after participating in a full team practice. During that senior season, a stronger Robichaud was relentless, piling up win after win at the 145-pound weight class, and the Rockets had their best season under Darren at 17-5. That was good for a second-place league finish behind Middlesex champ and state powerhouse Winchester. Robichaud would finish 2nd in the league meet, losing to Kahn 6-5. But Robichaud would turn the tables and beat him in the Division II North Sectional Championship, which would even their personal matches at 2 apiece. When the Division II state tournament came around, he easily dispatched Kevin McNeil from Burlington and Derek Tessaccini from Milford with pins. In the semifinals, he would face Bees from Winchester, who he had split 2 matches with during the season. In a very close match, Chris would use a second-period takedown to edge Bees 4-3. Waiting in the finals once again, Wakefield's Con. The 5th match between the two would determine a state champion. This time, Chris dominated the match, winning 9-1. The win gave Chris the Reading Wrestling all-time single-season record of 39 wins, breaking the mark of Tim Prudente, a wrestler he admired on his brother's team, and was one of the names he stared at on the record wall. That win gave Reading its first state champion since RMHS Hall of Famer Tim Holmes had done it 19 years earlier. His ultimate goal was met. He made it to the record board, and his name was in red. The team's 6th place finish in Division II made it one of Reading's best teams ever, and it was led by a state champion who had won only 1 match as a freshman. Robichaud went on to win 2 matches in the All-State Finals, where he would finish 4th and be invited to the New England Championships, where he would also place 4th. He would follow that up with a trip to the National High School Senior Wrestling Championship in Pittsburgh, where he would win 1 match before being defeated, ironically, by the 145-pound New England champion. Out of the humbling lessons of that 1-win freshman season, Robichaud became a 4-year letter winner and captain who would go on to win 83 more matches while at RMHS. He was named a Middlesex League All-Star, was a member of the Century Club for academic achievement. Chris would also be named a National High School Coaches Association Academic All-American, an honor that only 65 wrestlers in the nation achieved. Following his graduation from RMHS, Chris went to Northfield Mount Herman School for a prep year. There, he went on to become the New England Prep School champion at 145 pounds. After prep school, Chris would attend Wesleyan University, where he would have a very successful career, serving as a 3-year captain, and he was also inducted into the Wesleyan Wrestling Hall of Fame. Today, he gives back to the Reading program as a member of the coaching staff, working in the same wrestling room where his name still hangs on the wall.
Yeah, Robbie!
It is with great pride that we welcome Chris Robichaud into the Reading Memorial High School Athletic Hall of Fame, Class of 2024.